I know those of you who are older than us, like parents, like uncles, you probably had a very different Yoruba land and a different Nigeria when you were growing up. Now you are experiencing this. You could tell the difference, Abby. Rivalry between them is didn't start today. Oh, don't get me wrong. Oh, didn't start today. Oh. But within those rivalry, there was never a time that it became a public kind of like a discourse. And it wasn't around the time when Yoruba land was under attack, the siege of the Fulani terrorists, which the political class have done so well to downplay. But yet, the people who are meant to be closer to us are the traditional. There are those who have, a kind of like, authority connection with us, spiritual, name it. But they are so distant from the people too. Now, so you go see Oba, they go carry camera put in front of Oba. He go dey lament about the attacks in his community, how his people are struggling, suffering. I'm calling on government to please do something for us, help us. That one is not limited to Yoruba land, by the way, because I saw those traditional rulers they pull up for Tifnubu in Benue after they killed all those people in Yawata. Remember? They all had to come to Makodi to come and speak to Kalu, who told them that they should go back and accept the deal that they should part with their lands. Some just need to give these killers some land. So Yorubas used to have this massive Obas meeting in Ibadan. They would take a position even during the military. Some people said that all those happened because the political class wanted them to speak in that direction. And none of them would dare right now speak openly against what they are facing, against the government, because that could be their end. They are just local government staff. A local government, if the governor wants to get rid of any king, whether paramount or not paramount, it is a local government chairman that will sign the letter. Your appointment, you are hereby terminated. Your staff of office is hereby withdrawn. That's it. All those rituals, all those traditional rites that you performed, everything, all the gods that installed him, they won't matter then. Pure inconsequential. And that's the system that ordinarily you will think, Yoruba land. If the Obas can just come together and just, our royal fathers, give us go ahead. He can't give you any go ahead. Because now for your face, they go put anchors in the hands of your royal father. Remove his crown, remove everything, put him inside their pong. You will see him on TV. They will put guns and everything in front of him. They will say he's the one sponsoring terrorists for going against wherever it's already planned against his kingdom. So this is the reality. Right? When Oyo State was under serious attacks, all those northern part of Oyo State, which they still are today, Oni, okay, I'll still call him Oni because I really want this probably to get to everybody that should hear it. The Oni of Ife went to go and see Bokwari. When he got to Abuja, Bokwari said, according to him, he was there to tell Bokwari that the Fulanis are really, really killing his people. What did Bokwari tell him? Bokwari said, no, come. You see that Sunday, Igbo? I'm going to give you one last chance to tell him to stop all of that nonsense he is doing. And what was Igbo's nonsense? Igbo put together a team of young Yorubas and led them to the den of this Fulani terrorist. And then he broadcasted it to the world, what they saw. That got a lot of people on his side. And it also got him on the wrong side of these guys. What did Oni of Ife, what did he say to Bokwari? Please, I will talk to him. But he went there to complain about, there was no, I'll get the military to come down, but tell him to stop what he's doing. I'll send the military down next week or tomorrow, and they will comb all your forest for you and make sure that all these the terrorists living in the forest are clear. No, he didn't say that. He didn't. Oba Ogunwusi took pictures with Bokwari. He posted it on social media to tell everybody that he went to go and discuss a national matter with Bokwari, a very serious security matter, and it was a successful conversation. He posted it on social media. And when he got back to Ife, he sent for Igboho. And Igboho thought, oh, maybe Oni of Ife want to commend him. So he went there, fanfare, like, only for Oni to say, well, you know what? I have just one advice for you. Buhari is not happy with what you are doing. But he had spoken to him. And because Buhari wanted to arrest him, but he has already spoken to Buhari so that he won't do anything. So Sunday, you need to stop what you are doing. That's why he told Igboho. For your own good. I don't know how many of you will remember that though. So Igboho had to tell everybody that Igboho had to insult him. Now, what kind of a man is this? But unfortunately for Igboho himself, Ooni of Ife was speaking the mind of most of the Yoruba Obas that even he, Igboho, was praising, that they are receptive, they are supportive, they are the true Yoruba Obas. He didn't know. But I don't think it was up to a month because something happened after. They kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. And this was in June. So Igboho and everybody was like, we are going to stage a protest. And it's going to be a Yoruba Nation protest for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. How many of you remember that? Then July 3rd of that same year, a night before, Sunday Igboho's house was burned down in Ibadan. Then, hang on, I think that was like maybe a week before then. A day before the 23rd, a day before the 3rd of July, they came. And this time, it was to kill him. So since then, I've always been like, what kind of leaders do we really have in this place, for God's sake, man? They are more or less like working against the interest of Yoruba land, but to them, they are protecting Yoruba land because worse things could have happened if they have not been playing along. That's what they are saying. And this was under Bokwari. Now, a Yoruba man is there right now. So then you realize it was never about Yoruba land. Never was. So their supremacy battle has now got into the Alaafin of Oyo, giving the Ooni of Ife 48 hours. Guess what? It's already 48 hours now. 48 hours to retract that title because you're passing your boundary. If you don't, then you will face the consequences. Okay, that would be interesting. Consequences, okay. Two paramount rulers amidst all going on. Yeah. Right. So Ooni of Ife responded just briefly, and he said, I'm not going to respond to his threat. He's just a comedian. What? Yeah, he's just a comedian. That one is in the public already. So everybody is now waiting for what would that consequences be? And what is the way out? Scrap their traditional institutions? Or maybe organize the traditional rulers conference in Yoruba land and ask all of them, what exactly is their purpose? Is it as dictated by the fake constitution of that contraption that makes them so much like irrelevant lot, just filling up the space? It's about the same tradition they believe their own ancestral tools that they believe that they are preserving for the future generations as well. There may be something needed to be done, something different. I don't see way out. We are dealing with these ones now. We're going to deal with a lot of others too. They are all going to remind us that if you're wondering why the Yorubas are what the Yorubas are today, in this contraption where those who are supposed to actually represent us, care for us, are more interested in what they will get and how they will get what they will get from this same corrupt system, using us as their meal ticket because they are Yorubas. I'll leave that to those who want to add their own voice to that. Let's go to something else. You see this man, I think he's at the what do you call it? APC, APC, Egbekegbe's member. He dropped a snippet. Let me see if I still have it. All right. So dropped a snippet on this their by-election as well as their 2027 planned charade. I'll come back to that. What he said was that 1 million Peter Obi can't do what Tifnubu is doing. He may be right. Because what is Tifnubu doing? Nothing. I'm coming. Here is Felix Morka, their spokesperson for the APC, Egbekegbe. Again, celebrating their by-election victory and reminding everybody, you see, 2027 is going to be a walkover too. Well, now no go agree until it happens and you begin to scream, rigging. His statement. Watch this.
No election is universally hitch-free. Almost nowhere in the world do you have an election that you can say was 100% hitch-free. But it's all relative. The election we had last Saturday was generally free and fair. With exceptions in some cases where I think there was clear evidence of either violence or some disruptions of sorts, like we had in some constituency in Kano. I think it was the Bagwasano district in Kano where we had some issue of violence, where I even had to issue a statement asking that INEC should in fact cancel that election. But having said that, overall, the election was, pretty good. And the outcomes are again very, clear and telling. The APC prevailed significantly, across, all of the districts where the elections took place. Now, look, with every election, people win and people lose. And I think it's become fashionable in our country for those who sit on their hands, who don't do enough to vie and compete for votes when elections come, to wait until the results are announced and then to go to town, speaking a lot of profanities. And that's what we're hearing, with some of which you referenced moments ago. Now, the ADC, I'm happy that we have someone on the line, should be explaining to Nigerians, how they came up with such, a very, very, austere, outing at an election, coming on the heels of all of the propaganda and all of the stories told about, their, eminence in our democratic space. They should be making that explanation, not pointing fingers at the APC. We simply, mobilized, canvassed for votes. We went out there and our candidates prevailed. And I think that we have every right to celebrate our victory at this just concluded election. No election is universally.
You okay? Sorry. Felix Morka. Basking in the euphoria of their recent Pyrrhic wins or victory. But somebody was also in the studio with him who decided to remind him that by-election is just for those who are already the state government or governor to flex their muscle, because these are maybe just space elections. But you shouldn't walk straight into your 2027 charade with the same mindset. In his words, here.
Well, my good friend and brother, Dr. Morka, is, has spoken what is expected from a minder of the establishment and, a spokesperson of his party. But I'm sorry, he's gotten it completely wrong. Nigerians have watched with disgust and with appalling, dispositions what played out in the by-elections. We have, these elections conducted in 12 states, over 32 local governments, 6,987, I guess, polling units. Now, these elections, Dr. Abati, they do not in any way represent a barometer for gauging what is to come in 2027. I'm not going to take the bait from Mr. Morka to suggest that these elections, are a yardstick that will tell Nigerians what to expect in 2027. That is not the issue. The issue at stake now, the empirical issues to discuss, are the issues of transparency, integrity of the election process. You have 300 thugs arrested by security agents. In one local government alone in Kano, 200 have been arrested. There's an individual that was caught with 25.9 million naira trying to buy votes in Zamfara State. For the first time in our election history, soldiers were deployed in a ward in Sakajiki where there was, daylight box snatching. Thank God the INEC has, declared that election inconclusive. But when you look at the conduct of the elections, when you try to look at the figures, 6,900 polling units as against 176,000 polling units nationwide that will play out in 2027. This is an insignificant comparison. With every empirical indices or index or whatever you want to put it, we know that the APC will go to town, will eulogize and celebrate and make Nigerians believe that this is a huge loss for the opposition parties. And let me say this, Dr. Abati, the ADC was not literally on the ballot. There were people that had emotional attachment to their constituencies that on their own as individuals contested under the platform of the ADC, and they did so while this party, as we speak, is barely 3 months into calibration, repositioning, and catching our breath. So we expected this narrative to come out of the APC to suggest that 2027 is almost a foregone conclusion. No, it's not yet Uhuru. It is not. This is by no means a reason to compare. What is there to celebrate in this election? INEC has not lived up to the expectation of Nigerians. If anything, INEC has missed out on a history to redeem itself.
All right.
The same processes that we've seen in 2023 played out. Nothing has changed.
All right.
So there's nothing to celebrate. And it is the responsibility of the state, especially the president, to midwife a process that will make this democracy dependable and, full of integrity. Well,
okay. So he's practically saying that Tinubu needs to help kill himself politically, not like, literally. So, and he's right to some extent, right? Because APC themselves, they are also test running their own kind of like a scheme, right? Their own kind of a scheme that they want to deploy for their 2027. However, is right in the sense that ADC probably didn't even participate in their election because as a party now, but individuals who picked up their sort of like their tickets for the elections did so mostly on their own, and some got supports from like Obi and others, right? But that's the first part. Debunking what Felix Morka, the narrative that Felix Morka want to kind of like push, but he added more. This part. I'm sorry, I just discovered that the line was actually off. No wonder if you have been trying to call in and it wasn't going through, but it's back on now, okay? The other part, this one.
I think INEC as an institution has proved to Nigerians beyond any reasonable doubt, beyond any iota of doubt, that they are not ready. They are not ready to change from a leopard does not change, its spots. What played out in 2023 played out last Saturday, will play out again in 2027 if you have the same set of people, the same kind of contraption, and the individuals, from top to bottom, in the leadership of INEC. Look, let me say this. It's a bit personal, but let me share this with you. In 2016, I was privileged to contest, a by-election of a similar nature in Bauchi for the Senate, replacing, the late Ali Wakile of blessed memory. On the same day, we had an election in Daura. The results in Daura were pronounced by 11:45 p.m. My own election in Bauchi South Senatorial District took 3 days. Yes, you heard me right. 3 days to pronounce. And the reason was simple. Because the establishment, INEC, had to work over a period of 3 days to cancel 83,000 votes of mine to declare an APC candidate a winner. 83,000 votes. They were mining votes from one local government to the other until they got to a number that they felt was reasonable enough to justify, their own incompetence, and so they declared the winner, the loser, as the winner. And we've seen this played out even in states where somebody that was number 3 was, part of the process that became eventually number 1. What we are saying is not about even this by-election. No, we are saying that the democratic environment that we have today is on a downward spiral, and that INEC is complicit. INEC is partly and almost entirely responsible because it is the umpire. And we always hear this kind of narrative that is so undignifying, that is so condescending, that when you lose, you can go to the courts. Which court? In which democracy? In which country? Okay. In this Nigeria of today? Okay. And it is now left for Nigerians to do a surgical analysis of what they expect to have as a free and fair election going forward. Okay. But with this contraption, I'm not convinced that we have transparency upon ourselves. No.
You won't go contest the election. You are not contesting against APC. Some of you need to begin to understand that. You are not. You are running against the umpire, in which this speaker called a contraption. And that is what is wrong with the entire contraption like Nigeria. Politicians can pull their weight, do all of that. Institutions, strong institutions, they will withstand any politician, because they will outlive that politician. Institutions can come under attacks from politicians who want to change how things are done. But strong institutions will resist them to the last. But you don't have strong institutions. You have a strong man. Nigeria is a place where they are building strong men, not strong institutions. strong men that will decide whether to honor any institution's invite or not. Powerful men who can walk roughshod on your own constitution, in which you dare not try a tiny bit of a percentage from what they are doing. You dare not. You'll be gone. So you are contesting against INEC. You print posters. You're doing this, your campaign, this or that. You are running against the INEC because they are the ones that will declare winner. And whatever result they announce becomes it until you go to court. And you have to prove in court that you won. And that person didn't win. And exactly which court are you going to in that Nigeria today? Oh, good luck. Good luck with that. All right. Good luck. Here is the guy I told you of. That if everybody is angry with the Tifnumbu right now because he's failing, his policies, this or that, what are these guys going to do differently?